Welcome to this podcast presented by the Cuyahoga East Chamber of Commerce. This show is going to bring you some insights, some advice, and some inspiration on navigating that wonderful world of entrepreneurship. My name is Ben Holbert, and today we have the guest and the honor of talking with Bob Cohen. He is the vice chairman of SCORE, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping entrepreneurs and small businesses help them thrive in their business. So, Bob, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that as well. It's good to be here.
Yes, sir. Now, when people hear the term SCORE, that's the organization, that's the nonprofit that you are a part of. What is SCORE? Give us an idea.
Well, first of all, the acronym is Service Corps of Retired Executives.
Gotcha.
But most of us are retired, but I would say 20-30% of us are still working.
Oh, wow.
Which really helps us out. It keeps us high-end in technology. We know what's going on in the business world. Okay. But so SCORE is actually part of the SBA. We're a service arm of the SBA, and they provide a little bit of our financing, and the rest we raise on our own. And it's been a great journey so far.
Outstanding. And Small Business Administration is the SBA.
Yeah.
So you all are working in tandem to try to make sure that somebody, a mom and pop, or somebody who's really thinking about trying to get into business but really doesn't know how to start, that's when they reach out to you guys.
Exactly, yeah. So small businesses, as defined by the Small Business Administration, are generally under 500 employees.
Wow.
But most of the businesses that we deal with are anywhere from, the owner only up to maybe 10 or 15 or 20.
Wow. What kind of businesses do you see that are seeking services? Is it restaurants? Is it technology? Is it anybody?
Yeah, it really is. It's a little bit of everybody. We do a lot of work in the food and beverage areas and hospitality.
Okay.
We've got people actually that specialize in that. And so when you think about the SCORE mentors, most of them have had somewhat of illustrious careers. Mm-hmm. And have a lot to give back and are willing to do so. So hospitality is one. New product development might be another. We get people that are doing small mom and pops everywhere from, let's say soaps.
Okay.
Cosmetics.
Candles.
Yeah, all the way up to and including some larger companies. We also provide boards of advisors for companies that have been established for a period of time but still need some help from people that have had experiences within their industries.
I see. So when a person who's interested in going into business, there are some things that they need to know right off the bat.
Yeah.
A business plan, marketing plan. Those are all things that you guys help with?
Exactly, yes. So we work with business plans from the time somebody has an idea until they get it off the ground. We'll help them to actually look at the various ways they can incorporate. So it could be a sole proprietor. It could be, something as easy as an LLC or a larger corporation. We'll work with them to figure out how to do that and what is available. And we'll help them actually to navigate through that.
Okay. So Bob, you were talking about different resources on the website. Give us an idea of what you do.
Thanks. So business plan templates, they're available. You can just go in there. They're so easy to work with, and it gives you what it is that a financial institution might be looking for in a plan. Okay. Also financial plans, complete with formulas. So if you have any knowledge at all about Excel, then these are great to work with, and the formulas are already built in. Our workshops are all online, so there's a lot of recorded workshops. We also have a YouTube page as well, and you can go to that, and that's just SCORE Mentors Cleveland, and there are probably dozens and dozens of workshops that we've already done and recorded.
Mm-hmm. So the individual can sort of go to YouTube University, and then when they meet with their mentor, they're farther along in that process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. You all have partnerships with various businesses and then other resources that are available. Can you talk about those?
Oh, sure. And there's a whole ecosystem in the Cleveland area that are geared toward helping small businesses. So we're not the only ones that are out there. And we don't work in competition. We all work with one another. We'll refer clients back and forth. But a couple of the ones that we're working with, I should say, is ECDI, which is the Economic Community Development Institute. Mm-hmm. They have an organization called the Women's Business Center, or WBC. Mm-hmm. We work with the Urban League, which is a small business development organization. Mm-hmm. And we work with lenders as well, many banks. But the one I wanted to particularly mention was HFLA, which is a Hebrew Free Loan Association. Okay. What's good about that, first of all, it's open to everybody, and secondly, that it is interest-free loans. They're small loans, but they're interest-free, and they're generally geared toward people that are not necessarily bankable by the standards of a commercial bank.
Yeah, and that's so important because when you're first starting out, you need a little bit of assistance and you need a little understanding.
Exactly. We also work with the SBA. So the SBA recommends people that are in the process of putting their plans together and are looking for financing. They'll come to us. We'll help them put together their plan, their financial plan, and then work through banks that are working with the SBA for guaranteed loans. Okay. That's a great way to get a loan if you are not necessarily able to go directly to a commercial bank and borrow the money.
Yes, and people need to understand too, when you go to a bank, you need to have your documents, you need to have your financials. So it's just not you just walk in and say, hey, I'm here, give me $100,000 to start my business.
Right. Yeah. So banks will refer a lot of people to us that are not necessarily ready at that point in time to help them to get their plans together and even help them look at how to file and how to put applications together.
So let's walk through how this works. Ben wants to establish a business. And a friend of his or the chamber has said, you need to talk to SCORE. So what do? You reach out through a phone call, email, text message? How do you get in touch with you guys?
Great question. So the easiest thing to do is to go to score.org with a / and then Cleveland.
Okay.
If you go to score.org, that's the national organization, which SCORE Cleveland is part of. But if you go to score.org/Cleveland, you'll get directly to our website. There's a tab in there, Request a Mentor. You can go onto that tab, give us the information that you have that we're looking for. And the way it works is we've got a client assignment team. That client assignment team will actually look at the information you forward to us and then try to match you up with somebody that's got the experience in that area that you're looking for help.
I see. Is there a difference between a mentor and a consultant, so to say? I mean, SCORE is not a consultant. You guys are mentoring.
We are mentoring, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's probably a mix in there, but the idea is mentoring. So one of the things that is unique about SCORE is everything we do is free.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so we've got 90 volunteers in and around Cleveland, covering 7 counties from Ashtabula on the east side, all the way through Sandusky, Norwalk, Erie in the west. The highest portion of who we serve is within Cuyahoga County.
I see.
I would say 75% of our clients come from Cuyahoga County.
Okay. Now, when I sign up and I'm assigned a mentor, how long is that relationship? Are we doing this for a month or 6 months, or could it last a lifetime?
It could last a lifetime. What we strive to do in the key performance indicators is to keep our clients as long as they need us. So there's a tagline somewhere in some of the work we do, and it's called "For the Life of Your Business."
Okay.
So, we'll work with a business, and SCORE's been around for 60 years.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we'll start with a business from the time they're actually in the planning business plan set, parts of it, all the way through if they're up to and including, selling and disposing of the business down the road. So, we can help in all those areas.
So you're sort of holding the hand, but you're hoping that at one point the business owner can let go of the hand and operate independently.
I've got clients that we would start with and work with, get them up and going in business, and then they'll not need us for a while, and then all of a sudden something comes up. Even you think about the pandemic. When the pandemic came up, there were a lot of businesses that needed to figure out how to pivot, many of which did not. Those businesses would come back to us and help us, and we've got clients that we might meet with, maybe once or twice a year, and that's it.
Okay.
But we'll go with them and talk to them through, talk about their business. We'll bring in expertise, maybe in financial, marketing, and maybe even production people that we can bring in and sit down with them once, twice, 3 times a year and just go through their businesses and make suggestions as to strategies that they can use to grow.
It's very interesting and you use the word pivot, which I think is sort of important. If a person or a business is operating in 2020 at the beginning of the year, and then this pandemic comes along, now you have to try to figure out how do you continue to operate and do it efficiently. So SCORE can help you sort of navigate those unexpected, unintended waters.
Sure. That's exactly right. So during the pandemic, one of the things that we did was we would work with the EIDL loans and the PPP, which is Payroll Protection Plan, and the SBA, and we held workshops and webinars on how to navigate those. And we worked with the SBA, and we actually even put together a group of people that specialized in looking at all the regulations. You recall how difficult that was to negotiate through those regulations? So we had expertise in that, and we had accounting people, we had business people that were actually looking at those regulations and trying to figure out how to translate to a client's level.
Okay, and I assume, I sort of know this, but SCORE sends out emails on webinars. You let people know we're going to be talking about marketing, we're going to be talking about HR, so you guys span whatever kind of business need is needed.
Yeah, we do. And so we put on this year about 150 workshops, so that's several a week, and it's all subjects. We try to group our subjects together, so we're doing a series of 2, 3, 4, or 5 that are related to one particular subject. And you covered it. It's financial, it's marketing, it's business planning, it's strategic planning, it's several things that are all business related. And we ask our clients what they need. And that's how we develop those particular workshops.
Those different models. And the people that are presenting, they may be folks that you and I know, because it's what you try to do as much local as you possibly can.
We do, yeah. I would say for the most part, 95% are local, probably 75% are SCORE mentors, and maybe the other 25 we reach out to the community with expertise that we may not have internally.
I see. And there's probably a lot of women who hopefully are watching this podcast now. Maybe there's somebody who's a veteran, maybe a minority or somebody, but you guys have the ability and the desire to help those who may need just a little extra help in the area of diversity. And talk about that a little bit, if you wouldn't mind.
Diversity is one of our keys. It's something that we look at on a regular basis. We also look at our own performance in diversity. So I would say that a good 60% of our clients are women.
Okay.
And of those, I would say 50 to 60% are minorities. And I would say that many of them come from the city of Cleveland. We've got a program that we call Community Navigator.
Okay.
And our Community Navigator program actually came from the government's name. They have a program out there they call Community Navigator. And we liked it well enough to use the name. But basically the way that works is that we're working with neighborhood by neighborhood through the CDCs to help develop programs very particularly for the neighborhoods that we're working in.
Yes.
So we will develop mentoring programs, we'll develop workshop programs, we'll develop face-to-face programs. So a lot of our programs are virtual,
Okay.
but the ones that we're doing for the CDC are based on what the neighborhoods or the CDCs through our program tell us are needed in the neighborhoods. And we will develop the programs around that. We do much of our workshops in person.
Okay.
And we will do what it takes to help develop businesses within specific neighborhoods and help businesses that are already established. So there's a lot of merchants. So we work with Metro West. We work with Harvard Community. We work with Lorraine.
Okay.
We work with probably a dozen other CDCs that help us to figure out what is needed in the neighborhood. And so we do this from grassroots up as opposed from top down.
You got it. And CDCs, Community Development Corporations, they're trying to work to build a community economic development for their different regions and whatnot. So to partner with SCORE, this is a win-win situation.
It is. It is. And, and we track everything that we do within the areas that we work in so that we know within a given CDC who we're working with. We look at not only that, their businesses, we look at business growth. We also look at the number of people that we're mentoring. And that's, something, that's how we keep score.
How you keep score. I like that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Let me get a little personal here. I mean, you've been doing this for a little bit of time. It's got to feel good when you can be partnered with someone and you can help them. Can you have any anecdotes, any stories or whatnot?
Oh, sure. Yeah. In the Harvard area, one of our mentors is working with a woman who is in the process of developing a restaurant. Docs on Harvard is the practice of Colnita Riggins Walker's father-in-law, dental practice. And she went ahead and decided to put together a high-end restaurant in that neighborhood, and she's done that, and she's about to open. She's got good catering experience, but never had restaurant experience.
Okay.
So one of our mentors who comes from the hospitality industry and food and beverage in particular has been working with her.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's done a great job.
Yeah. And these are those success stories that when you're thinking about how you've made an impact or how SCORE has made an impact, it just makes you feel good at the end of the day.
It sure does, yeah. We also have a woman that is running her father's trucking company.
Can you tell us the name of that company?
Oh, sure. Cole Enterprises, which is actually a trucking company in the construction industry. Ronnie Thompson, who runs that, took over from her father and has grown that business tremendously. And she's worked with several of our mentors, and she's a model for diversity within the construction industry. She is always being tapped in to work with the large general contractors in town on these huge projects that are out there. She's developed that business with the help of our mentors, but certainly on her own as well.
And that's sort of non-traditional. I mean, women are doing some extraordinary things. And in the area of, business, politics, you name it. But, everybody needs just a little bit of help every now and then. You can have knowledge of how to cook, but do you have knowledge of the back office of how to make sure that your business is operating correctly? And that's how you guys come in to help.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we'll sit down with a client from the get-go, start talking about what it is they're trying to accomplish, what their goals are, think through what their business may look like, then talk to them about how to put together a plan, how to put together the marketing side of it. The financial side of it is really something that people don't think about. So one of the things that we can help with is we can help people understand what they don't know.
Yeah.
And then how to get the answers.
Yeah, because, again, you can walk in and think, I'm going to have this wonderful bakery or this wonderful restaurant, but you have no idea what really entails.
Exactly. Yeah. Even the simplest of businesses, people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. And we have to be honest here. Being an entrepreneur, it's not something that you wake up tomorrow and you've invested $20,000 and then by the end of the week you're a millionaire. Right. It just doesn't work that way.
It doesn't. It's hard work. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Okay.
It takes time, and you need to think it through from a linear perspective. I start here, here's the end of it. How do I get from here to the end?
Exactly.
And those are the steps in between. And when an entrepreneur comes in and is willing to do the work, they will be successful.
Okay. And I have no doubt about that. And SCORE, you would also work not only with a sole proprietor, but let's say it's mom and pop or it's husband and wife, and they need these skills, so they can reach out to you as well. There's no limit on how many people can be a part of the organization or the LLC.
Oh, correct. Yeah. So we do a couple things. We have one client, actually a husband and wife team.
Okay.
They're software engineers. They're looking at ways to grow their business. They've done really good things. They write code. They put together all kinds of programs and networks and things like that. But they're looking at how to market, how to get further. And it's a worldwide business. It's not just here in Cleveland. We're working with them. And we're working with a small company that has stores around Cleveland, and we'll sit down with them once a quarter, once or twice a year, and actually go through their business. We'll bring in their financial people, we'll bring in their production people, and talk to them about ways to grow their business.
And there was something you said that triggered a thought, but some people are under the impression that small business is just local. You're just operating in greater Cleveland. But you all have the ability to say, hey, look, your software company could actually do work in Silicon Valley. You could actually have a relationship with Canada or China or whatnot. These are things that you all provide as far as recommendations and assistance?
Yeah, for sure. And, SCORE has some 10,000 volunteers nationally. And so if we don't have the expertise here in Cleveland, we can go through our database and find it somewhere else. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
In East Cleveland, they're in the process of trying to put together a grocery store. And you know that East Cleveland is a
food desert.
Exactly. So we're working with their growth association to help them, and it's going to be a community project, and they're already well through it.
Yes.
When we began talking, they needed to look at food, grocery store managers, and I found two people in the Chicago SCORE chapter that had exactly the experience that they're looking for.
Okay.
And so they found a broker that would come in. They found managers that are working. They've got space allocated. Our people have gone through their space with them to figure out what's going to work and what won't. And it's in process. So I'm fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I hope to see an announcement sometime in the near future about a new store in East Cleveland.
And the thing that would be so exciting, I guess, if I was a part of SCORE, but to know that you had your hands or your ability to be able to assist where there's a significant need. When we talk about East Cleveland, the food desert, a lot of businesses over the years moved out, but to be able to have an opportunity where you've got a grocery store that comes in and making a significant difference, not only to the East Cleveland, but all the area, that's got to give you a great feeling.
It does. It really does. And that's my reward.
Yeah.
That is absolutely my reward.
Wow. And for those individuals who are listening who say, you know what, I've operated 3 or 4 businesses in the past. I've had a great time, but I just want to sit back and relax a little bit. But they may want to be able to reach out to SCORE because they have a technical skill set that could help somebody later on.
That would be fabulous. So we are always looking for mentors, and particularly diverse mentors. We talked about diversity earlier.
Yes, sir.
We want our mentors to look like our clients.
Got it.
And so anybody out there that has some experience, you can still be working or you could be retired.
Okay.
Please contact us. Go to score.org /Cleveland. And there's a tab that says volunteer.
Okay.
And it'll tell you all of the things that we do, but we will train you. The way the training program works is once you start with us, you'll be paired up with a coach, mentor. You'll be on mentoring sessions with them, and then ultimately you'll be doing mentoring yourself, and you'll be part of a team that really hangs together tight and really works to make a difference.
And the Cleveland chapter, if you will, you guys meet regularly just to chat about how you can help and make a difference in
Yep.
Northeast Ohio.
Yeah, we do. We have a chapter meeting once a month. We have a leadership meeting once a month. And we get together and talk about what we can do. And then, of course, we've got several committees that people are parts of.
Yeah.
And that does really make a difference in communities.
And a key takeaway for those people who are listening who may want to embark on a business is that SCORE is free. Is that, you get a mentor who's going to help you not just for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, but could last a lifetime.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're very proud of what we do, as you can tell.
Yes, sir.
We were Chapter of the Year in 2022.
Okay.
Out of 240 or so chapters, we were number one chapter. And we're still up there in terms of performance as well. So hopefully, maybe again in the near future, we'll be Chapter of the Year.
My goodness. Well, long live SCORE. We
so
appreciate
much.
you
Yeah,
guys.
Thanks.
And thank you so much. And I appreciate this has been a great conversation. I've learned a lot. I'm sure that those people who are watching in on the podcast have learned a lot as well. But, as an old television reporter, I used to always ask this question. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you think is very important to make sure that you leave this audience with before we go? Anything that comes to mind?
SCORE is here for you. We've got programs that are pretty much geared toward almost everyone from, various kinds of groups, various kinds of diverse groups. You mentioned veterans before. We work with veterans. We work with African-American volunteers or clients as well, Hispanic clients. We're trying to expand our reach into Hispanic communities.
Yes, sir.
Bilingual mentors would be wonderful. So if anybody's out there that would like to work with us, please apply again, score.org/Cleveland Volunteer.
Wow, you guys touch all the bases and you score.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much.
My goodness, some of my analogies sometimes are a little bit interesting, but Bob, again, we thank you so much, and we wish you all, wish you and the folks at SCORE just tremendous success. And
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
This podcast was made possible with the support of our sponsors. Find more ways to grow at chieast.org.